a signatory to the UN Migration Pact. Deputy McGrath first.
I'd like to thank you, Concola, for allowing us to raise this issue here this evening. Minister, it is my hope that we can discuss this issue without accusations about motivation coming into the debate. I have raised this issue with my colleague, Deputy Fitzmaurice, because the fact is that there is considerable anxiety what the real implications for Ireland are when we become a signatory, and we have become a signatory, understand, to the Global Compact for Safe, Orderly and Regular Migration, which is due to be adopted this week, in fact, at the UN Intergovernmental Conference, which will take place, has taken place in Morocco this week. In a recent PQ to Taoiseach, I was told that the Compact though non-binding and respectful of national sovereignty. I was also told that this is happening against a background where individual states cannot address challenges relating to migration alone. For example, cross-border efforts are essential if human smuggling and trafficking is to be reduced. But, Minister, we know, on foot of a PQ I put to the Minister for Justice and Equality, Deputy Flanagan, last July, that there has not been a single conviction for human trafficking under the provisions of our own Criminal Law Human Trafficking Act 2008. And despite the fact that there were 2 prosecutions under the relevant section of the Act in 2016 and 4 prosecutions in 2017. So now, if we cannot get our house in order with respect to trafficking and people smuggling issues, what do we think we have, what hope do we think we have in addressing the world's people trafficking problems? As I said, Minister, there's huge concerns about this, and I'm raising it in an unadversarial way because we're concerned. Since 2012, a total of 101 prosecutions have been issued under the Criminal Law Human Trafficking Act 2008. The vast majority of these prosecutions relate to offences under the section of the Act covering child trafficking and pornography, which we have to cover also. While on the one hand it is very encouraging, I cannot but fail to be concerned about the fact that only 48 convictions have emerged from the process since 2012.
Thank you, Deputy Fitzmaurice.
Thank you, Concola, for taking this topical issue. Minister, right across the country, and indeed I think all public representatives, has been inundated with a lot of emails and indeed people ringing them of concerned people about the pact. We know that in Germany, actually Angela Merkel's party, there was a ferocious debate among 2 people that was actually going for leadership. There is concern in other countries, and I think that some of the stuff that may be out there may be not accurate, Minister, I don't know, but I would have thought that the Dáil here would actually have statements or a debate on an issue before a government would go and sign with other countries. Maybe I'm wrong on the procedure, but that's what I would have expected, that the Dáil would have debated it. And I would like to hear your thoughts on the matter.
Thanks very much, Concola. I'm taking the matter this evening on behalf of the Minister for Justice and Equality, who unfortunately can't be here and sends his apologies. And I would really sincerely like to thank the deputies for raising this important topical matter. I'm happy to provide some background and context to the Global Compact for Safe, Orderly and Regular Migration. Minister Flanagan, as has been said, has just returned from the Intergovernmental Signing Conference for the Compact in Marrakesh, where over 140 UN member states were represented in the room, most by senior ministers or indeed heads of state. This debate is an opportunity to clear up some misconceptions about the Compact being pushed by some politicians, not here thankfully, for obvious political ends, and in particular, as has been said, by users of social media. Ireland has been closely involved in the development of the Global Compact on Migration, and alongside Jordan, Ireland co-facilitated the 2016 New York Declaration on Refugees and Migrants, a direct precursor to the Compact. It is very clear that mass migration across the world cannot be managed by one country alone. Migration is a global issue that requires global cooperation. The Global Compact on Migration, agreed this week by a significant majority of UN member states in Marrakesh, is a legally non-binding document that looks at migration from a global perspective. While non-binding, it does provide a framework for cooperation between states. The Compact is grounded in values of state sovereignty, responsibility sharing, non-discrimination and human rights, and recognises that a cooperative approach is needed to optimise the overall benefits of migration while addressing its risks and challenges for individuals and communities in countries of origin, people in transit and at destinations. The Global Compact places state sovereignty at its heart, meaning that it respects the rights of all countries to control their borders and retain control of their migration policy. Unlike the narrative being put forward by opponents of the Compact in recent days, agreeing it will not negatively influence Ireland or our migration policy. To clear up some misconceptions on this issue, the Compact will not grant the same rights to migrants as Irish nationals. The Compact will not remove the distinction between legal and illegal migrants. Rather, it reinforces this distinction. The Compact will not make criticising migration a crime, as some have claimed. It simply places an importance on combating xenophobia and racism. I think we're all agreed on the importance of that. The Compact will not infringe on Ireland's ability to operate its own migration policy. While it is regrettable that some countries have decided not to participate at this time, and that the Compact has become a kind of cause célèbre for far-right parties in some countries, Ireland supports the objective of the Compact. It provides a framework for cooperation through which Ireland can work with other countries on ensuring that legal migration, when it does occur, is as safe and possible and beneficial to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. McGrath.
Minister, I accept apologies of Minister Flanagan, and I've spoken to him about this. As I said, Minister, while on the one hand it is very encouraging what you have just said, I cannot but fail to be concerned about the fact that only 48 convictions have emerged from the process since 2012. And I don't want to be alarmist or anything about this either, and I would hope it won't be taken out of context. Internationally, it is now clear that governments of the United States, Australia, Austria, the Czech Republic, Dominican Republic, Hungary, Latvia, Poland and Slovakia have all pulled out of the UN Migration Pact process. Oh, I have to ask why. When I listen to your reassurances, I have to ask why countries like those have pulled out. This demands answers. I want answers. And why are these states, as I said, what are they seeing that we are not, or what do they know that we don't know? The most important issue here, however, is the absolute and total lack of engagement of the Irish people, or indeed this House. Surely such a decision like this should be debated and discussed here. And I thank the Councillor for allowing us to raise this evening. I thank you for your clarity. I look forward to engaging in the process ongoing and ensuring that it does what it says in the tin. Because I have concerns. Why would they all pull out if they were happy with it?
And once again, thanks, Minister, for your clarification on the matter. And as the previous deputy spoke about, you'd imagine that the likes of the CDU, where there was a protracted debate, which Angela Merkel would be very much in favour of migrants, that there was a very heated, protracted debate. There is a fear among people. Why is that happening? In I think it's Austria, in a lot of different countries, as the previous deputy has pointed out, that, in fairness to probably a lot of the politicians, and you refer to some of them there as probably for political gains, it wouldn't be of a massive political gains in the likes of Germany and the CDU to be within its own party that would be very much in favour of migrants. And there is a concern, I think, among journalism that has been expressed, and among the ordinary people out there, to see what are the implications. There's no one saying that every country would do their part for migrants, but there is a fear among especially the media that they will be shut down, and I welcome what you have said on dear Minister.
Minister, will you conclude?
Thanks very much, Colin Corley. Again, I would like to thank the deputies on behalf of the Minister once again for giving us the opportunity to contribute to this evening on the Global Pact for Migration, and for giving me the opportunity to set out exactly what the Compact is. I hope I was clear on that. And we can't be responsible, obviously, for what other countries have decided to do or not to do. That's their business. But we have been engaged in this for quite some time. And as I said, it doesn't infringe our sovereignty in any way. And in fact, it clarifies certain issues for us and helps us to work with other countries on this, which is a massive global issue. As I said, no country on its own can deal with this problem. We know that countries in Africa, the Middle East and Europe are still recovering from the effects of the migration crisis of 2015 and 2016, and the lessons we learned then should serve as a reminder of the need to address migration in a cooperative and comprehensive manner, and the dangers we face when we do not. Ireland has a long history of migration, as we know, which continues to this day. Over 17% of Irish nationals live abroad. In recent years, Ireland has become a country of inward migration, and the contribution of migrants from all parts of the world help drive our economy, from our health sector to our growing tech sector and everything in between. The Compact recognises the contribution of these people and works to optimise the benefits of migration for countries of origin, countries of destination, for migrants and their families, and for the receiving communities. In summary, I would like again to stress the non-legally binding nature of the Compact and its valuable role as a framework through which we can better cooperate globally on migration. Migration is an issue that is not going away. It is up to us how we define it, to define how we respond to it and how we manage it. And I know I would really welcome further debate on this issue in the House and in the committees. And I also have taken note of what Deputy has said with regard to trafficking and his concern about trafficking. And it's something again that I would welcome a debate on and hear more views from deputies on this. And I've taken note of what the Deputy has said. But I want to really thank the deputies for raising the issue. I hope I've brought some clarity to the matter, and we're available at any time if there are further queries or questions on the issue. Thank you very much.
Mr. Stanton. Before proceeding to the third